Today we're going to be revisiting Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I'll never forget all the kids back in the day. They used to be like, Modern Warfare 4 is already out. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Meanwhile, those kids were literally born the same year that this game came out, if not later. Call of Duty 4 was a revolutionary time in gaming. 2007 in general was one of the most revolutionary years in gaming. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this one was revived in the same way that the other Call of Duties were, because like, sure, there's people in this lobby right now, but like, let's be honest, if we were on like Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, we would have been in a game already. Between the campaign, the multiplayer, the progression systems in the multiplayer, like there were so many revolutionary things that this game brought to the table, not just for the Call of Duty series, but gaming in general. So many other games would take the things that Call of Duty 4 brought to the table and adapt it, and the Call of Duty franchise itself would just go on to take these systems and evolve them slowly over time. I mean, heck, when you play a game like this and then you go play Modern Warfare 2, the change from this game to even to that game is drastic. I think this game we're going to use the MP5. I could use the M16, but I don't want to be too newbie. Even going back to this game today, I know it's gonna sound crazy for me to say this, but man, like the graphics are just like, well, when you compare this to the things that like we had before this, for me, even though I've experienced the newer games, you know, like the newer Call of Duties and just newer games in general, this still looks fantastic to me. Granted, the first game I ever played was Donkey Kong Country on the SNES, and I mainly grew up with like PS1 and PS2 games. So that being said, I probably do just have like a higher level of appreciation for these graphics, because I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this video now where they're like, oh god, these graphics are so old. 2007 was that time where like, you know, because obviously the Xbox 360 came out in 2005, and then 06 we had the PS3, and you know, for that first year, like the graphics were slowly but surely getting better, but developers and publishers were still trying to figure out like what this generation is all about, what are these consoles really capable of. And while yes, we did see many impressive games come out in that first year of this generation, 2007 is when things just went like full force and we got a ton of crazy games. And as I've already stated many times in this video alone, yeah, Call of Duty 4 was one of the main ones there for that. It was like the example of what these consoles were capable of, what the next generation is going to be like, between the absolutely cinematic and groundbreaking campaign at the time, and even today I would say that the campaign still has many impressive moments inside of it, between the opening boat sequence and all the other like set pieces throughout the game. There was obviously Call of Duty games with multiplayers before this, like the first Call of Duty and Call of Duty 2 and 3, and then there was a bunch of like other spin-off games. And you know, when you go back and play a game like Call of Duty 2, they still feel relatively similar to something like Call of Duty 4, at least in terms of their mechanics. But Call of Duty 4 was the first one to bring things up to that modern era and to really help Call of Duty get off the ground, because the World War II Call of Duties, like they were selling well enough, but Modern Warfare is when everything just kind of like exploded for Call of Duty. And ever since Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty's been like a mainstream series, and somehow 20 years after, you know, the series has been around now, it's only getting bigger and bigger. I could have had a great streak right there. I would definitely love to hear from you guys. Were you guys there for Call of Duty 4? For me personally, I was there technically, and I did play the game a couple of times, but I wasn't truly invested in the Call of Duty series until Zombies in World of War. So when, I remember, because when Call of Duty 4 first came out, right, I played the campaign, I loved the campaign, and I did play the multiplayer from time to time, but I tend to consider World of War to technically be my first Call of Duty, because that's one where I really got invested in it in the way that you see most Call of Duty players doing. So like, while Call of Duty 4 was technically one of the first ones that I played, Call of Duty World of War is the one where I truly got invested in the series. I was playing it nonstop, and I was like a true Call of Duty fanboy from then on, and to this day, I'm still a COD sucker, if you get what I mean. But in terms of the very first Call of Duty that I like owned, that actually would have been Call of Duty Finest Hour on the PS2, and I still have my original copy. In fact, I just replayed that game last year, and yeah, it still holds up great. Big Red One is another one from back in the day that was also a lot of fun. I'm surprised when we first got on, we could barely get into a lobby, but this lobby's just kind of been like slowly filling up over time. I know I'm going 5 and 17 right now, but look, I can't help it. I don't even have access to my custom classes yet, and I refuse to use the M16. I mean, look at this. These dudes are literally just camping with their M16s. They got stopping power and jug on. I don't have jug or stopping power. Like, I'm trying to play as legit as possible, but these guys are cheesing it, so I mean, hey, it is what it is, I guess, right? That's just the thing with this, specifically Call of Duty 4. Everybody was using like stopping power and jug, and there really wasn't an in-between, so yeah, if you weren't rocking either of those perks, you're probably going to be struggling like I am now, because like, you know, there's a couple of them that I'm killing really easily, but as you can see there, when you're going up against a guy with jug, like it literally takes half a clip to do any damage to him. Defeat, man, we literally lost by 1 kill. I would also like to know your guys' opinions on Modern Warfare Remastered. Do you think that it was a good remaster, or do you think that it kind of betrayed the spirit and the authenticity of the original game? Because for me personally, as much as I love the remaster and as much as I love the campaign in the remaster, I don't know how I feel about all the loot boxes and stuff that they added to the game. I kind of wish they would have kept it as the authentic original experience. Honestly, wish they wouldn't have added any new weapons. I wish there wasn't any of the customization stuff. I honestly wish they would have just kept it like a bare bones faithful remaster and then included the DLC for free along with it, because at that point it was a remaster of almost a 10-year-old game, but instead they released it as DLC again that you had to pay for, which kind of stung. Oh man, here we are on one of the most iconic Call of Duty missions of all time. See, for OG fans, this is like a really iconic mission, and this, you know, this scene with Captain Price smoking the cigar, this is super iconic, but for the younger ones nowadays, they probably don't even know that, like, this campaign, that this game even exists. Oh man, I'll never forget the first time that I played this and just, like, seeing the rain effects and the water and, like, all the different things that were loaded in at one time. Because you gotta remember back in the day, right? Like, to compensate in games, whenever they wanted to have really big scenes, they usually had to apply a bunch of LOD effects or have a bunch of fog or have, like, lesser entities at one time and then have a bunch of pop-in. But at that initial scene when you're flying in on the helicopter and you can see all the crates, you can see all the rain effects, you can see all these different things, like, that was mind-blowing back in 2007. Like, when you come out here and you see the waves and you see all the different effects and the water effects, like, it's just, I mean, it was mind-blowing. I mean, look at this, like, the way that the water splashes aboard and you have all these different, like, shipping containers and the fire effects. Like, I know this seems like such small stuff nowadays, but, like, if you grew up at that time and if you were there for the evolution of those consoles between, like, the SNES to the PS1 to the PS2 to the, you know, the PS3 and so on, then you would know just how crazy it was at the time, seeing how rapidly everything was evolving. And the craziest thing is, like, this was nothing compared to the end of the 360 the PS3 generation. Like, when the generation was first beginning, I mean, this was mind-blowing, but by the time the 2013 rolled around, I mean, the PS3 was running stuff like The Last of Us, the Xbox 360 could run stuff like Tomb Raider 2013. Not to forget that this generation also had GTA 5, like, that is insane. That game is still going to this day. This whole campaign is just muscle memory to me at this point. I played it twice back in 07 when it launched. I played it once on regular, once on veteran, but in the years since, I've replayed this campaign so many times. I remember I played it multiple times in 08. I mean, every year since, it's kind of like an annual thing for me. I played through this campaign at least once. For a while there, after MWR released, I had kind of replaced COD 4 with the remaster. Like, whenever I got the itching to replay this campaign, I would play the remastered version, but I think back in, like, 2019 or 2020, I kind of just, like, reverted back to playing the OG version of this game whenever I wanted to replay, and that's still what I do to this day. Like I said, don't get me wrong, the remaster is absolutely fantastic. It looks great, it runs great, and in terms of the campaign, it's great. It's just, I don't know, that's how I am with games. I like playing that original vanilla experience. And I mean, like, come on, we got the original COD 4 Deagle here. Let's just take a minute to admire the sound. Oh, it's so good. The sound of the Deagle is either your favorite sound in the world or it triggers many PTSD memories depending on what kind of players you played against in Call of Duty 4. Because even though I didn't play this game a ton during its main life cycle, during the World of War life cycle, like, anytime that I needed my multiplayer fix, I usually ended up going back and playing COD 4 instead of World of War's multiplayer. Like, World of War's multiplayer was fun, and I still played it a good bit, but I definitely played more of COD 4's multiplayer during World of War's life cycle than I did of actual World of War multiplayer. Anytime that I was on World of War, I was usually mainly just playing zombies or the campaign. I'll never forget it, man. The AK-47 and the Deagle, I used to go crazy with those two weapons alone. The M4 is also another trusty. Like, any Modern Warfare game that you're playing, the M4 is kind of like the bog standard. You're gonna do good with this weapon if you don't feel like experimenting, and if you just want to be like that perfect, like, middle of the road, it's good at just about anything, good at just about any range, like, you're guaranteed to at least do somewhat decent with it. The M4 is always a safe bet. I'm literally getting chills right now. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite parts of the mission.
Bravo 6, 2 bogeys headed your way fast. Grab what you can and get the hell out of there.
Fast movers, probably mixed, we better go. So, grab the manifest in the container, move.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is so good. I'm not even gonna do any cuts. We're gonna leave this as raw as possible. Let's enjoy this together.
What's your status?
Already in the helicopter, sir. Enemy aircraft inbound.
Yeah.
Bravo 6, come in. Bravo 6, what's your status?
Shit! What the hell happened?
It's so good.
We've got to go now!
On your feet, soldier.
Come in, damn it.
Big Bird, this is Bravo 6. We're on our way out. On your feet, soldier.
We are leaving. Dude, it's so good.
Move your asses. Come on, let's go. Back on your feet. Let's go.
I literally feel like a kid right now. It holds up so well.
Go, keep moving.
The remaster added so much, like, you know, like, so much more, like, cinematic elements to this part, but, dude, this original, it's so raw. Oh, no! Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. Jump for it. Oh my god. That would have been the first time that I would have failed that mission in years.
Stand by! We're almost there! Which way? Which way to the helicopter? To the right! To the right!
Gotta keep moving. Yeah, I mean, like, everything's just falling all over the place. All the propane cylinders. Like, this was, like, all this was crazy at the time.
Hell is it?
Oh, go. The iconic Modern Warfare helicopter jump. You can't have a Modern Warfare game without it. No, I'm slipping.
Gotcha!
Such a G.
We're all aboard! Go!
Oh, round of applause. It's so good. But anyways, now I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you guys have any memories with this game? Do you guys love this game as much as I do? Whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. And anyway, as always, a massive shout out, thank you to all the patrons and channel members. Thank you to all of you in the low baller tier, and an even bigger shout out, thank you to all of you in the big baller tier, Mellow Asking and Big Daddy Maddie, and the biggest shout out, thank you all to all of you in the G tier, Ryan Vengeance, Ellen Cheese Girl. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.